And first this noon, breaking news, a major ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court. It will allow President Obama's health care plan to continue as is. ABC 7 senior political reporter Scott Thuman is live outside the High Court this noon with details on this historic decision. Scott?
Well, Jumi, it can't be argued as anything other than a resounding victory for the Obama administration. This 6-3 decision by the justices behind me, essentially upholding, as you mentioned, the law and making sure that tax breaks would stay in place, those federal subsidies for millions of Americans. The argument was this. In that 900-plus page law, the words established by the state were the big hang-up. In other words, it was written that only those who were using an exchange, in other words, getting their health care through an exchange that was established by the state, that they would get those federal subsidies. If not, millions would then be losing money. Well, the arguing here before the justices was that that was a technicality. At least that was the government standpoint, that you can't let those 4 words up and the intent of the law. It seems that the justices agreed, at least in part, with that argument. The president today making an announcement as a resounding victory celebration must have been underway over at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and he said that doing anything else, had this law been changed, it would have been moving backward.
In America, health care is not a privilege for a few, but a right for all. And today, after more than 50 votes in Congress to repeal or weaken this law, after a presidential election based in part on preserving or repealing this law, after multiple challenges to this law before the Supreme Court, the Affordable Care Act is here to stay. The United States. This did not go over well.
So the president saying it is here to stay, although you can ask some lawmakers on the right, and they would argue that the case, despite the Supreme Court ruling, is not over. In fact, we heard from the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, who said that they will continue their efforts to work around this law. And then those who would like to take the president's job, presidential candidates from the Republican Party, saying if they get his seat in the White House, they will do everything possible to repeal it. So the effort may look very daunting, but is not necessarily over. Now, for more reaction to today's landmark decision, that 6-3 ruling, let's go to reporter John Gonzalez, who is also at the Supreme Court today. John?
Scott, this truly is a historic day, and from this side of the Supreme Court, you can really get a sense of how important this day is to so many Americans. ACA is here to stand. That is the chant, the popular chant that has been going on all morning long and this afternoon here at the U.S. Supreme Court. We can tell you that, well, at the height of this, about 100 Obamacare supporters, maybe a little more, cheered loudly when the ruling came down at around 10 o'clock this morning. And, well, as you can see, some of them are still here this afternoon. You can probably still hear them, and, well, they are still celebrating this afternoon. This was all over a stipulation in the writing of the law, and many out here saying that they just weren't sure if the ruling was even going to come down today. Many thought it would come down tomorrow or perhaps even Monday. Well, after it came down, many saying that this affirms that the justices believe health insurance should be affordable and available to all. Now, we haven't seen many opponents here today, those who are against the law that gives the tax credits to the non-marketplace states, about 34 states currently. But this afternoon, 6.4 million Americans who are in danger of losing their health coverage are breathing a sigh of relief.
I'm thrilled today. I work with an organization that helps young people get access to health care coverage, and the Affordable Care Act has been really important for our generation. People who've never been able to afford coverage before finally could, and the ruling today ensures that those people can continue to get the health care that they need.
A huge victory not only for the Affordable Care Act, but for the entire Obama administration. And now that this huge ruling has come down, it clears the way for the same-sex marriage ruling. Many here believe that will happen, if not tomorrow, at the latest, Monday. Reporting live at the U.S. Supreme Court this afternoon, John Gonzalez, ABC 7.